Sheath Underwear has ruined my life. Let me explain. The other day, I went to grab a pair of underwear and I realized that all of my sheath were in the hamper. So I had to resort to wearing one of my old boxer briefs, super low hanging, uncomfortable. Took a shower, put those on, and tried to get some work done. And I couldn't get anything done. I couldn't concentrate. It's ruined my life. I am now spoiled. I can't live without sheath underwear. It's a life ruiner. In the best way possible. In the same way as that one person you met in high school that you fell in love with and you were bringing them gifts and trying to make them fall in love with you and just couldn't live without them, and and then you see them with the prom king or queen and it just ruins your life. But also you got to experience all that love and now you're a stronger person. That's what Sheath Underwear can do for you. It'll ruin your life but make it better in the end. Go to sheathunderwear.com, use my promo code RRBG, save 20% and change your life for the better. It may seem like trouble at first, but it'll be worth it. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the RRBG podcast. I'm here with James Kent, better known as Perturbator. How are you, brother?
What's up, man? I'm good. What about you?
Doing good. It's pretty early for me. I don't usually do the podcast this early at 8 in the morning, but I know there's time differences. So
from France. It's it's like 17. I mean 5 in the afternoon here.
5 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So how's France now? I know that in the beginning of the pandemic, it was a little ugly over there in Europe, but how are things now?
It's getting better. The vaccines are starting to be available for everybody. So that's pretty neat. I'll get mine soon, I think. And still don't know about the shows, which is fingers crossed. Maybe it's gonna happen. I do have a tour that I've planned, so I hope I'll be able to do it. It's just generally getting better.
Yeah. This tour, is it a European tour or is it a U.S. tour?
European tour. Yeah. Mm-hmm. In fall.
In the fall. I'm trying to see if I see the dates, but I know that there's shows already being announced for U.S. tours now, thankfully. So is that, obviously, I'm assuming that's in the plans as well. Yeah, I'm trying to find the dates, and I don't see them. Okay. Anyway, I'm sure you can find them on the website, the tour dates for Europe if they happen, which I think they will. I know, like you said, the vaccine rolling out and everything, shows are starting to come back. So I'm excited for that.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, you also just put out a new album, Lustful Sacraments.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
And that's available now if you go to perturbator.bandcamp.com. I was listening to it yesterday, and it feels a little darker, a little more gothic. Is that, is that accurate?
Yeah, definitely. It's much more. It's less aggressive than my previous works, but it has more of a. It's more centered around atmosphere, a bit more ambient if you want, but also moodier, definitely moodier. Very inspired by goth music, post punk as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was a kind of not a departure, but just a different direction, less danceable, more kind of like you said, atmospheric, a little more gothy and creepy. Now, what was the, what was your main inspiration to kind of make it in that sense towards the atmospheric and less towards the dance, more electronic dancey type?
I don't know. It kind of started because at first I wanted to. I wanted to make something that is obviously a love letter to goth music and post-punk from the 90s and 80s as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I've noticed that so I used a lot of new techniques. I added guitars, a lot of guitars. I added some vocals and stuff, and then I realized that all those little additions, they sort of they sound very cinematic to me, and I kind of wanted to take it into keep the DNA of my music pretty much alive inside those little snippets of atmospheric skits and stuff like this, and it just kind of like blended all together, honestly. And I also wanted to really like make an album that was very different than my previous one. So, and my previous one was very harsh and aggressive and cold,
Mm,
new model. Uh, so this one I wanted to make it like sort of like the opposite of it, almost.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, I heard vocals, and I was kind of shocked. I was like, oh, vocals. Because that's usually I haven't. There's not a lot of vocals in a lot of your music. Which I wanted to
Yeah.
ask you that, like how difficult it is to create music and tell a story without actual words. You know.
So that's kind of complicated, you know. It's I guess it's the whole work of people who make soundtracks and stuff like this. They have to
Mm,
do this. Um, they have a movie or a game to attach itself to. Honestly, I think it's just a matter of yeah, creating little, you know, structurally you have to make a lot of contrast, like uh, climaxes, tension building, stuff like this. It's a bit, making it a bit narrative as possible, and then you know, it's always a bit complicated, but you know.
yeah. So for this album, since it seems like it has a theme. The name Lustful
Mhm.
Sacraments makes you think something religious. Perhaps
Yeah,
sinful. Dark and a little satanic.
yeah, yeah,
Was there a main
absolutely.
thing in your mind when you were creating this music? Where you, like you said, how some of these soundtracks, they have movies or games to follow. Like, did
Yeah,
you have a movie going in your head while you were doing this?
absolutely. Yeah, I have like sort of like it is a concept album,
Okay.
and I have a sort of like story that I follow that I attached to it. And basically it's about a place where nothing is forbidden and people just you know use and abuse of everything that they like. So they drink every day. It's like a party every day, and and there's a sort of like there's a lot of religious undertones to it because they lose themselves to it. They lose themselves to they worship this sort of like hedonistic lifestyle, and they get kind of crazy about it.
Oh, so you
And
wrote
that's
a so you wrote an album about Florida. Okay.
yeah. Good one.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's
Yeah.
that's funny though. That's cool though. I get those vibes, man. I get those vibes from the music,
Yeah.
from the artwork itself. I mean, did you have in mind kind of like to perhaps maybe, because I know your videos are also very elaborate, very cinematic videos. I mean,
Yeah.
they're really really good. So are you planning on maybe venturing into the world of creating like a short film, like a movie, something like that for the music?
I mean, I mean, uh, good question. I don't know. I mean, I'm not. You know, you mean do I plan on making something like this?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I don't really have I don't really have a lot of videos. That's the thing.
Mhm.
I wish I could make more. And if I had the budget,
Yeah.
I would probably make a video for all the songs on the album, obviously. Uh, and yeah, it would probably look like a sort of like short movie or something like this. But yeah, uh, this is something I would like to do, but
Yeah.
or fortunately I cannot do it still.
Okay, but
Yeah,
that's cool. I mean, like I said, it would be fitting, I think, because some of these videos,
yeah,
like I said,
yeah,
I saw that, like, there's not a lot, but the ones that are there are really cool. So it'd be
yeah,
cool to see
absolutely.
something like that.
Hmm.
A lot of it also is linked. There's I don't know what to call it, but kind of like video gamey, the 8-bit, 16-bit, style. A lot of your songs were featured on video games before, like Hotline Miami.
Yeah.
Is there? Do you play a lot of video games? Is this where that comes from, or is it more passion from 80s synth music and all that?
It was more of a passion towards synthesizers and stuff like this, but I do play a lot of video games. Always did.
Okay.
And the Hotline Miami thing was really, it's just like a very lucky coincidence that happened to me. But it doesn't really inspire me. Like the video games in general don't really inspire my music too much. It used to be the case before, but now it's much more movie soundtracks and metal. I listen to a lot of metal.
Well,
Yeah.
you used to be in a black metal band or several black metal bands, right?
Yeah, I used to be like a session guitarist.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I've noticed that a lot of metalheads, a lot of black metal, or anybody that's making heavy music, when they do a side project, it always ends up being something like this, like electronic or something with a lot of synths. What do you think is the relationship there? Like, why is it that metalheads are so attracted to like synthwave and stuff like that?
I think it might be just a little theory that I have, but I think it's because the synthesizer is a very moody instrument.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like it has a lot of, well, first of all, it has a lot of it's very flexible as an instrument. You have a lot of sounds. You can do a lot of things with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it has this sort of like like a guitar drenched in reverb type of thing. Like you can have like two or three sounds, and then it creates this like sort of atmosphere. And I think a lot of fans of metal love atmosphere and moody stuff. So
Yeah, that's true.
that's my guess. That's all.
So I wanted to ask you for this, because there is a couple of when your music was first coming out, there was like a scene that kind of grew out of it, the synthwave thing that I saw a lot of people kind of heading in that direction, bands like the Midnight or Carpenter Brute, something like that, that were all kind of cyberpunk inspired and that 80s 90s kind of vibe. Is there a list in your head of music, 5 albums, not including like the bands, those bands I mentioned, but older bands like from the 80s? Are there 5 albums that you think are essential for any fan of yours that wants to get into the vibe?
I think it's 5 is going to be a lot, but I'll try.
Or 3, you could do 3. It's fine.
Yeah, but the first one is definitely I think should be the soundtrack to Blade Runner, the original from Vangelis.
Okay.
So this is pretty much the album that I got a lot of inspiration from.
Okay.
When I started out, and then the second one would be probably I guess the Halloween 3 soundtrack.
Oh, okay.
From John Carpenter and Alan Howarth. It's a tie-in. I love the Thing soundtrack. It's gonna be a lot of soundtracks for me.
Okay. Well, I mean, John Carpenter's a legend, so yeah.
Yeah. And then I guess it would be the third one. Good one. Good question. I would say Oxygen from Jean-Michel Jarre. Who's actually a good friend of mine. Yeah. So yeah,
Oxygen.
Those are the 3 essential, I think, to me.
Very nice. I got to check out Oxygen. I haven't heard that. I definitely listen to a lot of Carpenter's, soundtracks. I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Also, you mentioned like gothy music and the vibe of the new album. As I
Uh-huh.
was listening to it, it gave me those vibes of going to a goth dance club. Is there a lot of those in France? I mean, do you frequent those?
No, no, there's not. There's, I mean, if they are, I don't know them.
Okay.
So, so yeah, no, I'm not. I'm really not like a, like the type of person who goes to club and stuff like this. I'm
Mm,
very, I'm a very isolated person. Stay at home,
okay.
especially since the lockdown,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
obviously.
Okay. Yeah. There was a time, I think when I was in my 20s that I was going every weekend to the goth club, and it started like a joke. Like one of my friends was like, "Bro, there's a goth club. You should go check it out. It's gonna be crazy." And I was like, "Sure, why not? Why not? I like metal and gothy things. Let's go check it out."
Yeah.
And at first we went to just kind of like not laugh, but just kind of like watch how the vibe and the scene.
Yeah.
Everybody dressed in leather and the weird dancing that they would do, and
Mhm.
and then the next week came and it's like, hey, you want to go back? It's like, yeah, let's go back. And then we kept
And
going
then you
every
got,
weekend until eventually we became regulars.
yeah,
It was so funny, but yeah,
started
I
to
could.
dress the part and stuff.
Right, yeah. Start wearing leather pants, and all of a sudden I've got the makeup on. But yeah, I definitely feel that vibe with the music. So I thought maybe perhaps you were like that was your scene, since
Yeah.
you kind of
Not
nailed it.
really, actually. It's really not my scene. I really mostly come from black metal and yeah, extreme metal in general, death metal too.
Sure, yeah.
So this is more my scene, I guess, if you can call it like that.
Okay.
And also when I mentioned the goth influence, there's there's different types of goth. I imagine them like this. It's like there's the old long black coat, Joy Division ish goth, and then you have the more like techno,
Mm.
uh, crazy neon hair
Yeah,
goth
yeah,
that
yeah.
that you'd find more in the clubs and stuff like this, doing the dancing and stuff. So I'm more when I listen to this type of music, goth music, I'm mostly referring to the former, Joy Division, Balls, Sisters of Mercy,
Mm.
the old stuff. Yeah.
Very cool.
Mhm.
Other, can you name a few essential black metal albums that we should listen to if you wanted to get into black metal as well?
Well, obviously, yeah, no problem. I mean, essential black metal albums. There's a lot.
Yeah.
I would say the first one should be Dark Throne, A Blaze in the Northern Sky, which is my favorite.
Okay.
Uh, Mayhem, De Mysteridum Satanas,
Okay.
uh, big classic. Uh, then I would say, to me, it's a classic, and it's a bit might be a bit of a deep cut, but uh, Armageddon, Only True Believers. That's the name of the album.
Okay.
Uh, that's three. That's three.
Yeah, that's
I
good.
need
That's good.
three is good. Yeah.
When you were younger, was that something your whole life? Have you been into black metal and like darker things like that? Were you in a religious family? Because I've noticed that too. That a lot of metalheads and a lot of people that are into gothy things or satanic things come from a like very strict religious family that kind of, I guess, pushed them in that
No,
direction.
yeah, no. I never had that. I never had a. I mean, I think my parents believe in God, but this was never like strict, or it was never forced on me, or like Christian values or something like this. It's just it's something that is more. I guess what you describe. I think it's more prevalent in the U.S. than in
Okay.
France. in France, it's way more, I would say secular. Like, I guess like people just don't force their opinions like this, and then their religion, and as strongly as they do in the U.S.
That's good. That's good. I mean, I've always noticed that, France is a little more, like you said, a little more free. But there
Yeah,
are certain countries in Europe that are a little more aggressive too. Like it's like the opposite. You have
yeah.
Poland's got their issues with church now, like still making it
Oh yeah, yeah.
illegal and
Oh
all
yeah.
that.
Absolutely. Yeah. In Poland and stuff like this, it's kind of nuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I was just always on anti. I was not always a fan of black metal. Obviously,
Mm.
I didn't, got out of the womb with with long hair and black makeup.
No, I thought that's how it works. um,
But I got into it because I was just craving for extreme music. I think my first album was Slayer.
yeah,
For,
good. That's a good first
and
album.
yeah, The Rain in Blood, and then from this, I just always tried to find the crazier, more extreme, more satanic, more
Right.
darker.
Now,
Yeah.
was Slayer your first album overall, or did you hear something else, and then Slayer was the first metal album that kind of got you?
Yeah, first
Okay.
metal album, I think. Well,
Okay.
yeah, I probably it's the first album that I remember wanting to listen to
Mm.
for some reason. Yeah, and then obviously I heard other things. My parents would play music in the house, and I would get exposed to it, I guess.
Was it
But
more rock, like classic rock, or was it like my parents would listen to a lot of disco, like the Bee
yeah,
Gees and
yeah,
Boney M and stuff like that.
that's nice. Yeah, no, I think my parents listened to a lot of classic rock, you know, uh, Pink Floyd, stuff like this,
Oh, okay.
which is nice too. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool, and I think my mother really liked she really liked new wave, Depeche Mode, and stuff like this.
Duran
So
Duran.
uh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, all the Frankie Goes to Hollywood, stuff like this, and
Okay.
I always I always have this sort of joke. I always describe my music as a mix between Slayer and Depeche Mode, I guess.
Very nice. Very nice. So I wanted to ask you because electronic music sometimes gets a lot of heat from especially from metal fans or people that are listening to metal music. It gets a lot of heat
Yeah.
only because they say things like, oh, they're not really playing instruments, they're just pushing buttons. But
Hmm.
you
Yeah.
use a lot of actual synthesizers, not so much the program sequences and all that, right?
Yeah. I mean, depends. I use a bit of both. I use software and hardware, and uh, you know if you're talking live show, well, yeah, obviously I do have a sort of like little backing track because there's so many layers of synthesizers in my music that if everything had to be played, we would need 10 people on stage uh, because there's so many synths playing at the same time. So, but I play the leads, I play the bass,
Hmm.
so that's that. And real drummer too. My best friend is next to me playing the drums. And then studio, well, yeah, I use a mix of um, virtual synthesizers and analog synthesizers. Yeah. And I don't think there's any shame to do that. Yeah. And I think people who are like the type of people you describe are probably very just very close-minded people. That's all.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I like I love electronic music, but I
Mhm.
always, when it comes to live shows, to me, I always feel like there has to at least be one other person on stage, right? Like if it's like a live drummer that playing an electronic kit, that's enough for me. I feel like if I'm watching a live show, I need to see some kind of movement. You know,
it is pretty hard to it's I agree that it's pretty hard to transpose electronic music on stage. It usually looks a bit lifeless, which kind of defeats the purpose, I guess, of the music. So I agree with you that also the fact that the synthesizer, the instrument itself is not a very it's not a very visual instrument. It's not like a guitar where you can strum the fucking strings and just it looks cool. Here it's you look like a nerd. There's no other way to put it. It's really hard to play the synthesizer in front of people and not look too much like a nerd.
Unless you're playing a guitar, man, then you got to get a guitar. No, I get you though, because the instrument, I mean, the keyboards, the synths are facing you, right? So you're the only one really looking at it and really looking at the keys.
Thing. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, and it's like it's literally just fingers moving. So on stage, I kind of like exaggerate. I just headbang, move my hair, and just kind of sort of try to put a lot of energy into it, just so it looks a bit cooler. Also because this is how I behave on stage anyway. So
right.
Yeah,
and a lot of electronic bands too, I've noticed, have like very elaborate visual components to the show. If you have
the light show.
Yeah, the light show. If you have that, at least people are busy trying to keep up with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The light show. My light show is it's a very big part of the show of Perturbator, because it's very frantic. It's like super like a lot of flashing lights and stuff, strobes. So it's just it works. I mean, I think so, because I've never seen myself live. But from what I can see from the videos that people made, it looks good.
Is that something you program yourself?
I think so.
Are you programming the lighting as well, or do you have somebody that helps you with that?
No, I have a light engineer.
I was gonna say that sounds like a lot of work to just have to program it yourself and the music, and keep it all synced up on a live show.
Yeah. There's a lot more guitars too on this album. So the next shows I will pick up a guitar and just play that too. It's just
interesting.
So it's cool.
So for live shows, like you said, is there any like a dream show that you want to play? Like, is there a big festival that you've never played, or is there like a tour package that you think would be like your dream to put together?
Good question. Well, there's no place or festival that I've always dreamed to play.
Okay.
And the package, it's a good question. I can't think of anything right now.
Yeah, because in my mind, like the first thing that comes to my mind would be like you got Perturbator, Carpenter Brute, and like the Midnight. But at the same time, like that can get old quick. If all the bands are playing the same style of music, I like it to be a little bit more mixed up. But I have seen that you play a lot of shows with full on metal bands.
Yeah. I prefer, because the thing is, I don't really listen to synthwave stuff like this. It's not a type of music that I listen to.
That's interesting that you don't listen to it, but you make it.
Well, I don't consider that I make this type of music. I think I make something more like it's just a mishmash of all my influences, and I call it electronic music.
Okay.
But I think stuff like the Midnight is like extremely different than what
Sure,
I
yeah, yeah.
do.
Theirs is
Yeah,
way more danceable,
completely opposite.
yeah, yeah. They got that
Yeah,
saxophone and
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So it's it's so yeah. That's not a package that I would like. I think, yeah, but I'm way more into metal bands because they bring this sort of like dark, you know, this sort of energy that I like that I want to have too on my shows. So my I guess my dream package would be damn. I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe like
Also, all my
like a behemoth. Would that be good? Like a perturbator or
no,
behemoth? Or is that too heavy?
no, I'm not a big fan of Behemoths too.
Okay, okay.
The thing is, all the bands that I love are like either disbanded,
Okay.
or they're not in activity anymore. Like, you know, now they're too old or something. So,
Well, okay. Well, just
uh,
which bands are that? Like, it doesn't matter if they're active or not. If you, it's just like a
okay,
fantasy
yeah.
booking. Yeah.
Well, I would love to play with the Devil's Blood.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's my favorite band, and
All right.
yeah, the Devil's Blood, and maybe my friends from Hangman's Chair.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and Perturbator. That'd be nice. That'd be a tour that I would very look forward to play.
Okay. Is there a big band like a big name band that you would like to collaborate with? Like
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Depeche Mode. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
And they're still
yeah,
making music, so that I think that could actually
yeah.
happen one day.
And I even think I think I saw I'm like subscribed to a lot of music stuff, so
Mm,
I get a lot of new music every day,
mm.
and I think I saw that Dave Gahan does some vocal works, you know, some guest vocals on some electronic stuff. So yeah, I'd be really into the idea of maybe I should try to send him a message.
Yeah, put it out in the universe.
And
That's how it works, right? You just you put your
yeah,
ideas out, and like it'll happen, man. I think that would be pretty cool to have a
doesn't hurt to try. Yeah,
yeah, that would be cool to have a Perturbator song with him on vocals. That would be great.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
do you listen to any of like other goth electronic bands like Nitzer Ebb or
Yeah,
Covenant or VMV Nations,
yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that?
Yeah, I really like I like Need to Have uh I even like some more low key stuff, you know, like Gatekeeper,
Oh, okay.
one guy filmmaker. I like that. It's pretty cool. A lot of some sort of like Molcha Doma, like a lot of Eastern European stuff, electronic stuff, goth stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Then I have a couple more questions, and then I think we'll wrap it up. But so, what is your number one favorite synthesizer that you own? Which is the one that you do most of your writing on?
That I own. It's it's the Profit 6.
Okay.
It's basically an old an old 80s synthesizer, and it's made by Dave Smith right now, who makes it. By the way, shout out to them. Yeah,
Okay.
pretty cool guys. And yeah, this is the one that I use when I write, and it's also the one that I use when I play live. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Cool. And then the last question is kind of a weird one. Since you're from France, I wanted to ask you, what is your favorite, or if you have somebody visiting from any other
Yeah.
country, what is like the number one dish that you would recommend somebody to have to eat in France?
Dish. Snails.
The escargot, the snails.
Yeah, that's cargo. Yeah, yeah, snails. I love snails. It's
Interesting.
really tasty, and it's kind of funny too because every time somebody visits France for the first time, I do take them to try and eat snails, and they don't want it.
Yeah. It's a weird
Yeah,
it's a hard sell. It's a hard sell to be like,
yeah.
hey,
It
come
is
eat
a hard
snails
sell,
with me.
yeah.
What's it
It
taste
is a
like?
hard sell, yeah.
Like I'm a big food fan, but I've never had escargot. So like, is it more like the flavor? Is it kind of fishy, or is it more earthy? Like,
It,
what's it taste
it,
like?
uh, it kind of tastes like it, it's first of all, you don't feel like it's a snail, when
Hmm.
when you put it, when you chew it and stuff. So that's good.
Yeah.
And it has a sort of like, it tastes a bit like pesto sauce.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but like, much better. So
Is it chewy? Because I
yeah,
feel like it's chewy.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, a bit, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
a bit, kind of, yeah, yeah,
Well, if I ever come to France to visit, I'm definitely going to try it. I mean, I've that's another.
yeah.
I
I
feel.
advise you.
Yeah, I feel like it's a dish you have to have there too. Like, you don't want to
Yeah.
get snails from like Alabama or something. I wouldn't get,
No, yeah, that's
I wouldn't get snails in
no, yeah,
Alabama.
no, I mean either.
Mhm. And one final question, actually. Do you have any other? You said you play a lot of video games. So,
uh,
um, what is what are you playing right now?
oh, right now I don't, because I
Oh,
have so much work to do, and I have to do a lot of stuff. So this past couple of months, I haven't played a lot, and so yeah. So I don't know,
But
but
usually, okay. So let's say you're in your downtime. What are you into? Are you into like shooters? Are you into RPGs? What's
a bit
yours?
of everything. RPGs are my favorite. I like, my favorite games are like, Fallout New Vegas.
Ah, yes.
Um, I like the Mass Effect
Mm.
franchise, the first three, stuff like
Great
this.
music in Mass Effect, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty
So
cool
good.
music.
Yeah.
And I've been playing the Yakuza games
Oh, yes.
uh,
Yeah, I just got into
before.
those. I just got into those. Yeah.
They're really good, really good. I love them.
Cool.
So yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned Fallout New Vegas. I'm actually right now. I'm hooked, completely hooked. And any free time I have goes into Fallout 76, the
Oh
multiplayer mode.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I tried it, but it didn't stick to me. It didn't
Mm.
stick with me.
Yeah, it got better. Like when it first came out, it was bad. It didn't have
Yeah,
any. It didn't have any like NPCs or people to talk to in the game. There wasn't a lot of
yeah.
stuff going
Oh,
on.
they added that. Yeah.
They added NPCs. They added story. So like now it's actually like a
Oh,
real game.
okay.
It feels like an actual game, and that's why now
Oh,
I'm
nice,
hooked on it now because I went back to it
nice.
and revisited it, and man, is there something about scavenging in the wasteland that just I guess it's
Yeah,
in my brain. It's like this could very well become reality anytime soon, so I might as well get prepared for it, right?
yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Uh,
But yeah, thank you so much for your time, man. I appreciate
Thanks
talking to
to
you.
you.
I've been a fan for a while. My wife listens to you almost every day.
Mhm.
She,
Oh,
she's got the playlist on every time she's doing her makeup or anything. We're getting ready to go out, so
nice, nice.
I've become a fan through her. She's the one that showed it
Okay.
to me. So
Oh, thanks to her then. Shout out to her.
shout out to her. Is there any aside from obviously, if anybody that's listening or watching just me talk, the album is available on perturbator.bandcamp.com. The Lustful Sacraments. Pick that up. Aside from the European tours, I mean, are there any big shows that have been announced that you're a part of? Like, I know they did Psycho
Not
Las
yet.
Vegas or anything like that.
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, it's just a big tour so far.
Okay.
Big European tour.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, anybody in Europe listening, I apparently shout out to Norway. I have some fans in Norway apparently, but if you're in Europe and you're able to catch him on tour, go get it, get tickets. And is
Thank you.
social media stuff for you? I mean, I'm sure you have an Instagram, Twitter, anything like that you want to plug?
Yeah. Well, no, it's just, Twitter, Perturbator. Yeah, Perturbator. Instagram, Perturbator Music. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, thanks
That's
again.
it.
And by the way,
Thank you.
amazing vinyl too. Guys, if you're go to the Bandcamp, there's some really cool looking variants, splatter vinyls for the album too.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
It's been a pleasure.
Have a good day.
Cheers.
Take care.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.